Welcome in another edition of Putting for Dough. That's right. You drive for show, but you putt for dough on this show here. And better late than never. We had one extra day of golf at the Players, thanks to the elements and all of the trashy, crappy, versatile little things, volatile things that impacted your bets. So trash a bunch of stuff. I know it was a tough one for Ben Rasa, as it was for me. I don't want to harp too much on last weekend, although it was the Players, and we did see a couple of really cool things in the world of golf. Our betting stuff aside.
It's all about perspective with this stuff. It was more for me on the DFS side. Like I had a very legitimate sweat. If you would have told me at the beginning of the week, could I take the week that I actually had, I would have snap taken it. On Monday morning when I thought I was going to win the Millie, a little different opportunity. Sebastian Munoz kind of crashed and burned. Still cashed that top 40, and we're going to get into our 40-20-10 later in the show. We turn the page. We've got Valspar. You know what? Positive vibes only. We got a lot to talk about here.
Best thing I did was find value on a Kisner top 20 ticket that was like 500 points higher on one book. And I told you and Lofty on our chat there, is like, look, I'm going to jump on this. And I had the cash out opportunity. I don't regret a thing, right? I turned that technically I turned that half unit into 1.5 units just off a cash out in such a volatile tournament. So that was the one little business decision that turned out okay for me.
Yeah, again, it was just it's hard to bring a ton of analysis when you've got delays like that. Hideki, who was my favorite bet, that was voided, brutal. Obviously, which was no problem. He didn't hit a shot. More of a problem on DFS. But again, now we get Valspar, and I guess the theme right at the top of the show for me is who's actually going to be in this field, because we already had 3 withdrawals, including the champ from a couple of years ago, back-to-back, Paul Casey. I'm interested to see if any other big names say, you know what, after last week, I'm going to take the week off.
Man, it's fine for me if Casey wants to take this week off, especially after riding that plus 600 ticket that cindered for me on the final day. But yeah, look, you're right, where there is going to be, I think, that extra day, that little bit of a layover, if you will, where some guys are just going to say it's not worth it by all means. So where we are kind of midweek and anticipating maybe another name or two, doesn't even have to be a big name, but just another name or two, will kind of capture what we have right now, because you're right. You do have Valspar where we don't anticipate it being as nasty by all means from an elemental standpoint. This is definitely going to be a course that's going to reward the ball striker. You can get away without being a great putter by all means. So that kind of mitigates some things here. And if there are a couple of guys that you think are playing well enough in this Florida stretch with some course history to boot, then I think you can find some value. But let's start at the top, man. Look, I think we struggle to find some chalk winners, but JT at least plus 150 top 10 is just so hard for me to not take right now, as well as he's striking the ball, especially down in Florida.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He shot 3 under, bogey free in the wrong side of the weather draw. Like, how impressive that is can't be understated. 10-1 in the outright market right now. He is the favorite. He should be the favorite. I would much prefer him over Hovland and Xander and Morikawa for the very top of the board. And even a guy like Usti, who I wanted to make a case for here. He was second in this tournament a couple years ago. The guy's gotten, I mean, I love Usti. I'm his biggest fan. He still has no career PGA Tour wins, and he's 16-1 versus JT, who's, a prolific winner on tour. I think if you're going to go all the way up, you might as well just take the 10-1 or bump to the mid-20s, which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah, if you want to play, I think Usti is a sneaky play. I'll get to another guy that I think you can attack this before we get out of here. But if you want, because you're right, like the first win, especially on American soil, I don't think it comes here this weekend, but he can get up. And if you like him to play well, and if you like him to even win, like if you're betting him to win, then I think you should take a long look at him being the first round leader. This is a course that he can play well at. And again, this is based off a gut. So if Ben Rasa doesn't like Usti's to compete in this, if you don't like Usti to be around on the final day, then I wouldn't suggest this. But if you like Louis top 10, I say at the very least, then I would strongly suggest you taking a look at him getting up, as we've seen him getting up early in times in which he's won.
So I have no problem with that. And it's not like I don't think Louis can win. I think he's amongst the favorites. It's evaluating, do I think 16-1 is a good enough price? for a guy that has never won here? And for me, the answer to that is no. Whereas 10-1 for JT, I can get on board with that, even though it's shorter odds. So I like Louis, and I wouldn't be stunned to see him up amongst the leaders. It's just evaluating that chance of success. And to me, Louis at 16-1, Dustin Johnson is 18-1 right behind him. I'd rather play DJ, who had a spectacular Sunday. And then again, there are guys in the mid-20s that I like much better.
Okay. Anybody else on this top card here before we move on that's worth, even if you're working, like I said, with JT at plus 120, pardon me, for that top 10, I think that there is an opportunity there to attack. Is there anybody else? Look, you mentioned Morikawa, and I don't know if it's worth it at that point. Probably draw the line. DJ is 1,800. Hatton. Look, I don't know where Jason Kokrak is. Is Kokrak a top guy or is Kokrak a middle guy?
Yeah. I mean, to me, he's probably like neither of them is like a non-playable at these prices, but he has had a very good run of form. But the guy I want to talk about is Matthew Fitzpatrick.
Okay, well, he's right there. Same odds as Kokrak.
At same price as Hatton as well. And I like Hatton, but Matthew Fitzpatrick, this is a good spot. We've been waiting, or at least I have, to bet him in the outright market, and his odds 20-1 in strong fields, 22-1. Then he misses a cut at the Players. He was in the wrong side of the draw, missed by a couple shots. No big deal in my book. Now he's 25-1. Now we're getting serious. This is not as strong of a field, and his price is actually better. Matthew Fitzpatrick has the perfect game for this. Long irons, accurate off the tee, great Bermuda putter. I think that he could bounce back here. Another guy looking for his first win, but this is a good number, unlike Louis at 16-1.
So I'm curious, based off of that, and you mentioned the bounce back, and we've already seen this, right? Like Kokrak, pardon me, playing well at Bay Hill. We've seen him just struggle and then have this moment, pardon me, this week, and then just kind of coming back down a little bit or even lower. I feel like this could be a nice bounce back moment for him, especially with his course history here. He's the same price as Matty Fitz, you mentioned, at plus 2,500. But you kind of just, I don't know, you don't have any interest here in Kokrak at all with the history?
I don't. Also a runner-up here. Gained 5.5 strokes putting that week, and he's shown a crazy hot putter recently, but even I don't know what's going on with him off the tee. He's lost in 3 straight off the tee. He lost 2.3 strokes at the Players off the tee. That used to be the strength of his game, and now it's the glaring weakness. His around the green game was never good, but his putter is saving him. I don't have any interest. I'll be honest. Okay. I kind of don't know where he falls. I would rather play Hatton and Fitzy, where I know what their game is doing, and they are the same exact outright odds in the market.
See, this is the type of daily insight that people are getting on our new amazing betting Discord opportunity here, right? Where you, Alex, Steve, so you've got everybody here. You've got the trio right now, Steve Buzzard, Alex Baker, and Ben Rasa, who are giving you daily picks based off of top ROI, based off of our own models here. And again, you're getting curated picks from our experts who are league leading experts, the downloadable ROI tracker. It's amazing here. You just use our promo code, click that link, we have pinned, and then use our promo code. Let me see those picks, right? For $10 off your first week, you jump in there again for another couple of days. And you guys have been killing it, the three of you.
Yeah, as long as you stay away from my soccer picks, you're going to be just fine. That's the one caveat. But no, I mean,
I didn't bring that up,
No, I did though. No, the thing that I think is really important is we have these amazing tools. They are absolutely phenomenal. OddsChecker being the lead one, but context matters. And you talk about this all the time. You can go there and sort by XROI and get a great indication of some of the bets to make. But seeing Alex and Steve and myself at times say, you know what, I'm going to sort through this and actually build my card where it checks the boxes and I leave a couple off is an invaluable tool. And I think that's really why we're so excited about people hopping in and joining the community, is you get that insight from the people actually watching the games in conjunction with the tools that the team has developed. And I think that's a really effective combination.
So let's keep it going here, man. We've built you up, right? We've sold the subscriptions here. Now we need to back it up with a little bit of a deeper look on the board. So we'll keep it moving here. A couple of mid-range options and some long shots here as well. gave you Kokrak. You didn't want any of that. You're stuck on Fitzy and Hatton, which I totally get. I'm totally on board with that by all means. And we'll get to our 40, 20, 10 guys in a second, but just more to that mid-range / long shot before getting to actual long shots here. Is there anybody else that you kind of like in this mid-range opportunity? And, I'll give you one. I don't know if he's mid-range or long shot per se, but I'll give you a guy who I think is not necessarily long, but can strike the ball consistently enough and really take advantage, especially because the greens don't require you to dominate. But Kevin Streelman at plus 1,000 for a top 10 play, you're going to get an even bigger payout to win the damn thing. Somebody to keep an eye on.
Yeah, that's a long shot. That is a
okay.
That's a big.
I'll save him then.
130 to 1 to win this. You like to go right for the. I'm trying to hit singles. You're swinging for the fences over here.
No.
I was gonna say Noren at 55 to 1. You just go 130 to 1. Easy.
No,
game.
I have Noren on my radar from you earlier in this in the series of shows here. So absolutely, I think Noren is a great spot.
And you mentioned he's been on my radar. 5th at Honda, 26th at the Players. He gained 5 strokes on the approach in both events, over 6 strokes ball striking in both events. What's not to like? He can handle all the elements. He's been playing great. Hasn't been cut since early or late January. I feel very good about that number. And then one more. Again, the price has to check out. Jason Day is 65 to 1. I mean, that's a pretty big number. And he's starting to find the form. He missed the cut at the Players. He was in the wrong weather draw. That doesn't matter. 5 of 6 positive around the green, 5 of 6 positive with the putter. If he can just fix the irons a little bit, this could be a spot at 65 to 1. The guys that he's grouped with in the outright market, Cameron Tringale, Christian Bezadenhout, Mackenzie Hughes, Adam Hadwin. To me, Jason Day is much more likely to actually win the event than those guys.
2 names that I want you to consider from what we just recently saw, and different approaches by all means, but Kisner is a guy we just brought up. He's at plus 7,000, so he's still in that range. We saw him play well enough for that top 20. Definitely some sort of momentum, although the Players is kind of an isolated event. I get that, but he's playing at least well enough. He's at plus 7,000, and still in that mid-range is plus 8,000, best putter on tour. And we've seen in prior years here, at least, the best putter win this, so it's not totally mitigated by any means, but McCarthy is plus 8,000. Any interest in either of these guys?
You son of a bitch. You stole my 40, 20, 10 is Denny McCarthy.
Okay. Hold on. Save that. Okay. See, here's the thing. I'm learning. All right. You think that it's in one ear out the other. I'm learning. All right. I'm trying to identify stuff. So we'll get to Denny McCarthy in a second. We'll tell you all about this awesome video you and Matt Kajeski did on the Odd Shopper channel in a minute. But long shots, I mentioned Streelman. So let's get a couple long ones out of here. Look, I think Streelman is best played at top 10 at plus 1,000. I don't think he wins this, but again, he's catered to, I think, compete in this event without needing to be super long. He's somebody that at least kind of popped in that long shot range.
I get it. I think he would probably want pretty docile conditions, lean on the wedges, like Pebble Beach. He's always thrived there. If you can translate a little of that to Valspar, he's got to handle the par 5s. I'm going to give you an off the wall guy. It's a I guess a passion project. It's a guy I always back when he's over here. And he's been in 7th at the Honda, 7th at Puerto Rico in his last 2 starts, 150 to 1 in the outright market. So that's a gigantic number. 28 to 1 for a top 5, 11 to 1 for a top 10. Matthias Schwab, the Austrian.
Wow.
This is a guy that we don't see a ton, but we know he can do it. He's been a top 5 at a WGC, which is a much stronger field. And again, his last 2 starts on the PGA Tour, 7th and 7th. Obviously an impressive guy. He's got the pedigree, usually plays over in Europe. If you're looking for an up-and-comer, this is the type of guy that I don't think it's impossible to see in a couple years. He's actually playing over here. So I'm going to buy early on Schwab. Of course, it's a stretch for him to win the event. He's 150 to 1. But again, you're looking for a lotto ticket, and that would be mine this week.
Unbelievable. 150 to 1.
2 straight top 10s.
I love it, man. Look, I can't. Plus 11,000. Would you even play the top 10 there, or you just go for?
I wouldn't mind a minor wheel, even
Yeah.
opening it up for a top 20 or a top 40, because he's shown that he can get in the mix. Winning is another story, but he's got the skill set, and you're going to get plus money across the board with a guy like that.
Boy, that would be one hell of a flex if you came out with Schwab as your 40, 20, 10 guy.
Now, yeah, I get to the line of scrimmage and I audible off Denny McCarthy.
All right. So we'll do that. Our 40, 20, 10. We find each one of us find a guy that's plus money at top 40, plus money top 20, plus money at top 10. But look, it's tournament time. We can't ignore it. You and Matt have not done that. In fact, you've done the opposite, which is break down every single possible betting, gambling angle. It's on the OddsChecker YouTube channel. So if you haven't already subscribed to that, what are you doing? Hit the thumbs up button here, subscribe, and you'll get access to everything that we have as soon as it goes up. You and Gajeski have absolutely smoked it when it comes to analyzing and breaking down all the different betting angles of this tournament, man.
Yeah, unlike some of these other sports, college basketball is our wheelhouse. We know these teams. We've watched. So the beauty of the tournament is 95% of the people, and some people watching this are going to say, I got to build a bracket and I want to bet these games, but I haven't seen a single college game all year.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here. We've been watching these teams the whole year, the mid-majors, these diamonds in the rough, and now it's their time to shine. It's a great opportunity to check out that video if you're building your bracket, and to hop in Discord if you want some picks for the tournament. I can't wait for it to get started. There are games starting up immediately, and we're going to be ready for it and have a great time.
All right, 40, 20, 10. Let's hit it here. I'll start, and then you can clean up my mess. This is about, I think, two things, Ben Rasa. One, it's a guy whose talent and skill set, I think, just meshes with this course. So he should be in contention because he can strike the ball. When he's playing well, he can strike the ball. And I still think, and we talk about value a lot here on this show, and you mentioned getting ahead of Schwab. I still think there's value getting ahead of a guy like Mito Pereira. So at top 40 down to 20 down to 10, he's plus money across the board here. You know, he's plus 500 as a top 20 guy. He's plus 150 as a top 40 guy. I think alone the top 20 is misplaced. So yeah, top 10 may be a reach at plus 900, but the top 20 is misplaced as far as the pricing. And I still think a top 40 should be closer to even money.
So that's a good one. I'm definitely on board with Mito. A lot of people were really high on him. And then you look and people say, what's wrong with Mito? Well, let's dig into the numbers. He had gained strokes putting in 6 straight events. In the last 2, he's lost 4.3 and 4.4. It's almost impossible to hang around when you're losing multiple strokes like that on the greens. So you could say one of two things. A, he's got a serious problem on Bermuda because both of those events were in Florida, and that could be true. And that's going to make it tough. Or B, it's just an anomaly. And when he gets back, the ball striking will be more than crisp enough to carry him. I tend to think it's the latter with him. You know, this is a guy from Chile. He should have some experience with these type of greens and whatnot. He's been over here. He's got some pedigree. I like Mito, so I have no problem at plus 150 for a top 40. That's a pretty good number.
All right, my friend, Denny McCarthy time. Take it away.
Denny McPutts. What can you say? He's the best putter in the world.
That's all he does.
That's all he does. And he makes them, and he masks what is mediocre ball striking. The guy's gained strokes putting in 8 of 9 events. He's made the cut in 9 of 10 events. When you make the cut and you're trying to cash top 40s, there's not that many guys that don't cash it. Like 65-ish guys make the cut. So only 25 names are in that dead zone if they make it. And he is finding the weekend time and time again. No pressure on the driver here. This is a club down course. Driving distance, not a prereq at all at Valspar. 39th last year here. What did he do? He lost 0.4 strokes ball striking. He gained 3.1 on the putting greens. I expect a similar performance. I think until he regresses putting, I'm going to keep playing him at plus money in top 40s.
That's not bad, man. You know, not bad at all. Here's the thing. I can cheat a little bit here with you because my buddy Ryan Ballinger, he's at the golfnewsnet.com. He's a big golf honk and in the PGA world. Verified guy, so I'm not just pulling somebody out of my rear here. He plays at the same club as McCarthy. And I've brought this up with you before where, you know, they'll go out, he'll play every now and again, he'll see him and they talk, they know each other. And that driver has improved. So it's only a matter of time before we'll see that tangible difference and that change, that improvement off the tee, and getting somebody ahead of time is pretty impressive because it's like getting, again, you're jumping the gun on value, where if we did see that transition to where he is getting longer off the tee, more accurate off the tee, I doubt he's plus 8,000 to win this thing.
Yeah, I mean, again, let's dig into what exactly we're getting here. This is a guy that I've mentioned the putter. The irons are pretty weak, and that does hold him back from elite finishes at times. But like anything, he can have, ironically, most times we talk about outlier putting performances. A guy like this can have an outlier ball striking week. You know, one thing clicks. I'm going to use my guy, Lahiri, from last week. I mean, look at his recent form from nowhere, and he comes in second at the Players. It can change that fast in golf, and Denny McCarthy is not that far off. And when we're asking for top 40 for a top 20, that's a lot different than saying I'm going to back him in the outright market, which I really wouldn't recommend. I think he's closer to consistently competing rather than breaking through randomly. So there are names. I got to ask you about one more guy, though, before we build our final card. So the man, another favorite of mine, he's using a broomstick putter, and he needs to go to, I don't even know if there's a third option, because I think he made it worse. Aaron Wise is as broken on the greens as I've seen in quite a while. I backed him last week in DFS. He gained 6.4 strokes tee to green. He lost 5 strokes putting. The week before that at API, he gained 10.6 strokes ball striking, and he lost 4.5 on the greens. If he could just fix his putter, he would be so effective right now.
He may not need to totally fix it. He may just need to hold his breath. These greens are forgiving. This is not a, right? Like if there was ever a tournament here, you just laid out the key metric, right? Which is gaining strokes from tee to green, because the greens are a lot more forgiving at Valspar. So yeah, look, man, a top 10 play for Wise. He was at 8,000. Aaron Wise is plus 1,000 for a top 10. I think you could just play him top 20 at this point and comfortably bet that. That's a great call.
He was 17th at API despite minus 4.4 strokes lost. Yes. Like, if you get anything with the putter, Aaron Wise is I know he's a frustrating roster, believe me, but there's a lot there. This guy's a talent. He's a winner on tour. He been runner up multiple times as well on coastal tracks. He knows what he's doing. It's just not working on the green. So if you look for another guy at plus money across the board, Aaron Wise fits that mold.
All right, so let's hit it here. We'll alternate our top 2 plays and build our final card by all means. And again, our 40, 20, 10 guys, Mito Pereira for me, Denny McCarthy for Ben Rasa. So I'm going to take this shot here, man. I'm going to take a shot at Jason Kokrak at top 10 plus 225. I'm going to go down with the Kokrak ship, and that's how I'll start the final card.
Yeah, that's well said. I'm going to go with Fitzy. I'll take him at the same price head-to-head against you. I think that Matthew Fitzpatrick at 25-1, little over 2-1 for that top 10 is a healthy number. So if you're looking for that premier guy, not the JTs of the world, but that next tier, Fitzy for me, Kokrak for you. They both check that box.
One more to consider here. Actually, it's a 1-1A. I'll be quick. Kevin Streelman, plus 140. We talked about him as far as attacking him for value. Well, how about plus 140 as a top 40 play? Again, I think the value there is just getting plus money for him. So I like that. And I mentioned as far as the first rounder, if you like Louis in this one, another guy who has had limited, but I think somewhat of a successful course history here. If you like a first round leader, you can get Bubba Watson at plus 6,000.
That is kind of interesting. Bubba's a guy, certainly stay tuned. We'll be talking about him as the tournament grows closer on all these channels. For me, I mentioned Schwab as that crazy long shot, but the second guy I'm going to put on the final card is Alex Noren. He's 55-1. He's 9-1 for a top 5, 5-1 for a top 10. He's just playing too good to leave him off at this point. The guy's ball striking is there. He's a prolific winner in Europe. It's only a matter of time before he strings one together here. He's been close so many times. Could be this week. If he keeps playing like this, he'll give himself a chance.
We appreciate everybody hanging with us. Putting for Go here. Hit that thumbs up button, please. If you haven't already, you see we have a bunch of stuff happening here on the Odd Shopper channel. Those links below for you. The betting Discord is there for you, as well as all of the bracket info that you need to win some money here. So we appreciate it again. At JazzRazDFS on Twitter for Ben, at Shander Show for me. Thanks to Chris for producing, and we'll see you next week. Hit them straight.